Hello Reborners, my name is Karen and this is Making Dolls with Karen. We're back with Brooklyn and we're going to give her final blush. She looks real good, I think. Her little feet still have the creases. We're just going to go on and give her last coat. And then when we come back, if everything still looks as good as it does now, we'll be putting in her eyes and her magnet and getting her ready to get her hair. And that is the final step, is the hair. So here we go. We're going to just, well, she's a little warm still on her head. We're going to start on her limbs. They're slightly warm too, but we're going to start on them. I don't know. I've made Brooklyn awake and Brooklyn asleep, and I think they're both blondes. I'm thinking about making this one a brunette. I don't know. To me, Brooklyn is a blonde. I don't know why. I just like that. I like her a blonde. And she's adorable for one thing. She's just super cute. And I like the way her little arms are so bent up. Her and Jade both have that in common. Their arms are super bent. And it makes them almost look like they're laying on their little chest, like a newborn baby would do their arms when they're first born, you know. And I just love her sculpt. Yep, that's pretty skin tone right there. I think it's going to come out real good. We'll put that down and we'll come back to it in a few minutes and pounce it around a little bit more just to see if we need to smooth it or, you know, if there's any puddles of color. And I think that all in all, the sealing in the middle was successful. It wasn't 100% totally glorious or anything, but it did preserve her creases. Most of her creases still show, instead of a few of her creases still showing. So I'm gonna give it 2 thumbs up. I have 2 thumbs, I'm giving it 2 thumbs up. I know that's what critics do, each one gives a thumb up. But I'm giving both of my thumbs up on that procedure. If you're having trouble keeping your enhancements, I would say go ahead and stop when you get them right and put a thin coat of sealer on them. Be sure to give them 2 bakes, and you've just now made your enhancements permanent after you get finished with the bakes. And as you continue on, they don't wash away. I don't know why they'd wash away anyway. It seems odd to me that baking it makes it permanent, but future coats can wash it away. I'm baffled by that one. And what in the world is on her toes? Huh, how'd that get on there? I gotta get that off. That doesn't even look like anything that's supposed to be on her toes. Got a little of something. I don't know what it is. Stuck to her toes. And anyway, I got it off, I think. Well, I can still see a little bit of it, but it's very vague. We have to always take care of our mistakes like that as soon as we see them, because if we can't completely remove them, at least we can minimize them. Sometimes scratching something like that off makes all the paint in that area come off, and that would be a worse outcome than having a little spot on a toe. So we carefully try to remove them. It's dependent on how bad the thing is that you're trying to remove. If it's real bad, and you're going to risk even knocking some of the paint off that's underneath it, then you can go ahead and scrub it off or something. But most of the time, you don't want to mess up the rest of the paint job. You just want to take off the boo-boo. And so we have to try to go at it a little bit slower, a little bit easier, and see just how much force do we have to put. And is it worth it? Do we want to stop, you know? And I have stopped in the middle because it seemed like it was worse to remove it than it was to leave it. And then you just have that little boo-boo, and it's just part of the artistic process, in my opinion anyway. Got a little something on her heel here. I know what it is. It's from the sealing. I probably didn't wait long enough to put her. If you put sealer on your doll, you need to wait at least overnight before you bake them, because the sealer is gooey and sticky, and even though it looks dry on the doll, and when you touch the doll, it doesn't feel completely dry, but it feels what we call mostly dry. But it's still wet enough and gooey enough and thick enough that when you put it in your oven, whatever you have lining your oven, which should be cloth, something cloth, is going to stick to it a little bit. And a fiber or two may stick to your doll. Now, sometimes you can pick it off with tweezers, and sometimes you can just scratch it off with your nail or something. And sometimes you don't even see it until you start coloring that area again, and then it's like, oh no, look at that. and then you have to try to deal with it. But that's what I'm talking about. As soon as you see it, deal with it. Because we don't always see it right when it happens. Because some of the lighter coats of paint don't color it enough for us to know that it's there. And so therefore we don't know to fix it. We'll lay all those parts down, and now her head should be cooler. It is much, much cooler. And we're going to get her head colored, and then we'll go back over her all over again and make sure her paint is nice and smooth, and that she doesn't need anything else done to her before she gets her last bake. And then we'll get her eyes in, well, when she comes back out, we'll get her eyes and stuff in. And boy, this paint's kind of rough. I went way to the bottom with it. I don't care how much you try to keep your paint from having little granules in it. They seem to have little granules in it anyway. I just load my paint down with paint thinner and, well, I mean thinning medium. I don't mean regular liquidy paint thinner. It don't do nothing for granules, but I load it down with some of the thinning medium and some Exodus oil and all kinds of things, and still I get this rough looking stuff in the paint. And that's why we dab with our extra sponges. That's why I do it anyway. Plus, if you don't, they look like, their paint job looks like a rash, and we don't want that. Just dab all over and make sure we get every spot. She's got a little roughness around her eyes. She had it the very first coat of paint, and I thought I took care of it, but now it seems to still be there. It's right in those little crevices around her eyes. They're just a little dark, but hopefully that's not going to make a big deal. It doesn't look like it is. My worst fear about that is when you're putting the eyes in the corners and stuff, as you're pushing the eye in, it's pushing that color right onto the eye. That's what worries me, that it might do that. I've never had it happen, but that doesn't mean it can't. I want that piece of her ear color. That is absolutely absurd that that piece of her ear is so light colored. I don't know. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to set her down, And we're going to start with her arms and legs because that's what we painted first. And we're going to go and sponge her around a little bit more and make sure she's even. I'm using the cleanest one I have. Those are a little bit wet. The drier your sponge is, the more of the excess it'll take off. And we don't want to just pound and pound until there's no color, but we just want even color. We don't want her shoulder like real red and then the bottom of her arm light red. Now her hands are going to be a little bit darker because we made them that way, but the rest of her should be smooth. Not much comes off, as you can see. It's just a very small amount. But that little small amount can take away the rashiness and the really stark ugliness of some of the colors, that how they can come out if you don't do it. I think she's going to look really nice when she comes out of the oven. She's going to have a very pretty skin tone. But now whether or not we're going to like her creases and stuff remains to be seen. I know that I'm not going to put any more red on her right now, so I'm going to put this on up. Her lips don't need touching up. See, that's one thing. I got her nails and her lips right at the get-go. I didn't even wait to put any paint on her. I painted these on when she had no paint on her, and they stayed all this time because I sealed them. Oh, I didn't redo her face. See, I usually do the face first, and so I was thinking I already repounced her face, but I didn't. She'll be getting, I'm hoping to get, I usually send somebody a picture. Sometimes it's one of my doll friends, and I'll lay the brown hair up to her and take a picture, and then I'll lay the blonde hair up to her and take a picture, and whichever one they say, that's the one I put on it. I have one friend that always says blonde. She's a blonde hair preference person, and I like blonde hair too. It just looks so good on the babies. But if we don't ever make any dark-haired babies, our babies are going to come out kind of boring. There we go. She looks good, I think. And when we come back, we'll be putting in her eyes and a magnet. Uh-oh, I see something on her upper lip here that looks like it's going to come out rashy. Yes, it is, because it has not been pounced. Even the inside of her nose looks good. I can't believe it. I'm going to start doing that, I think, all the time. Of course, it's an extra thing of sealer, but hey, if it makes a beautiful doll, it's worth it, right? We're going to get her in the bake now. We're going to see what happens when she comes out. So please remember to like, subscribe, and share, and happy reborning.